Hello everybody. I'm not going to start this video by screaming at you, "Hey YouTubers, what's up?" And if you could see my face, I don't have a ring in my nose or blue hair or a pink hat, and I'm not trying to be a YouTube personality. This is about the product. This is the CH case, made in Canada. It sells for about $150 US. I had it shipped around here because there was nothing else like it. It's not only rainproof, bomb-proof, crush-proof, nuclear-proof, it's human-proof. And I just love it. This is the silver version, and you can get it in many colours, and they all look great. Once again, this is not an ad, I'm not getting paid, I didn't get a cheap case or anything like that. It's just something that is the epitome of the perfect case for your goggles RE from DJI. It has a double locking system, which is great. It can't accidentally come undone. And just for a bit of fun, I have added Link's Zelda Triforce logo to the top, which you can buy on the net for $2, just to give it a little bit more bling. Okay, so we open him up, everything's all good. Oh, by the way, this is strong enough to sit on. You can use this as a seat, either way. It has a very strong clip and a 5mm rod hinge. That will not blow shut in the wind. And there is your fantastic 700 Australian dollar goggles from China. And I can't say enough good about these things. It's, you know, I started RC flying many years ago. I've seen an awful lot of changes. This is one of the best things that's ever happened, is the DJI RE goggles. Even if you're not racing a drone, believe me, these are the duck's guts. You can go flying with a mate, fly on your tablet, give them to your buddy, you're both in the same drone, it's hell funny, you'll have a great time. Now, because these fit in so tightly, which is how it should be, because this could actually fall off your picker, as you guys call it over there, it could actually fall off your utility truck, bounce along the road, and you could go and pick it up and your goggles would be fine, because everything is in there, there is no movement at all. However, the goggles, for people who have them, will know that there is a join here where the headband joins the goggle box, as I'll call it, and it is a very strong dual function piece of the goggles. It is a hinge which allows you to swivel the goggles up, as you know, and also all the connections are in there for the batteries, which are held back here in the headband to supply power to the goggle box and all the other functions that these wonderful goggles do. However, when you come to take the goggles out of the box, because they are in there so firmly as they should be, with this high quality foam, I even hesitate to call it foam, it's so high density. But the natural thing to do when you open the box and you start using them the first time is to grasp the headband here and lift them out of the box that way. Now, because there isn't actually a lot of friction on this headband part, as you can see, it moves quite easily. You have to wind the headband to its smallest position, and it just sits there quite nicely. And all the delicate bits up the front here are absolutely rigidly held. So the only way to get it out at the moment is, it is natural simply to lean forward and grab that and pull them up. But this is going to put a lot of force on this hinge and where all the connections are. Now, this hinge and connection is a little bit tenuous. Now, if you know about this, you can reach in underneath, and there's a 1/4 inch lip on the inside of the goggle box where you can just get your fingernails onto it and wiggle it up like that. But it's still not optimum, because if we have a look in here, and I'll just try and separate it, you will see how many tiny pins there are there. I think that's about as close as I can get for focus. They're tiny, and the connection is only a matter of millimetres. And I know from when I opened this took the goggles out of the original packing case from DJI. We plugged it together and went, wow, isn't it great? And a few minutes after we had turned it on, it went dead. The lights went out on the side. It was nothing. It was like it had no battery, or the battery was completely flat, even though we'd just charged it. And that is exactly the situation, because if this is not absolutely firmly pushed in and then not subjected to any lateral force at all, or any vertical force at all, it is fine. But if it gets handed around a bunch of people and tried on a few heads, etc., it can actually, I'll just put it back in, there is no positive click, unfortunately, with this. It just pushes in, and that's that. You have to hold this button, of course, to remove it. It can actually disconnect. It looks connected and it can disconnect. So my buddy, who's a technician, picked it up, went like that, and bingo, the lights came back on and it started working again. So this connection can be a bit tenuous. You know, it's a delicate instrument. It's not really made, you know, for a football match or anything like that. So let's not be club-footed rock apes and treat it like it's a four-wheel drive accessory. So that's the first thing. Make sure it's really well plugged in. Also, if you have a box where you have to continually disconnect and reconnect the headband, I think over time that's going to cause wear and problems too. And that's one of the reasons that I bought this box, because we can leave the goggle box and the headband connected all the time, which I think is a better option than separating it every time you go flying. You only have to get a tiny bit of sand or debris falling down into that slot and you won't have a connection. And there's about 20 gold pins in there, tiny gold pins that will bend so easily if anything goes in there. Let's leave it shut all the time. Okay, so we now know that we don't, you know, we want to leave the goggles, the goggle box and the headband with the batteries connected all the time, and we don't want to exert any unusual stresses on this bracket. It's a good solid hinge. It'll hinge up and down all day. It's made to do that, but it doesn't like being wiggled laterally or bent or twisted. I could turn it on now and give it a little pull, and after a while the light will go out, but I don't want to muck up my goggles, so I'm not going to do that. So what do we do? Okay, well, I just happen to have here my kamikaze headband, which I always wear when I'm flying a new model that I have just built. And all you have to do is get a piece of fabric like this, or even an old 1970s wide tie would do the job from the op shop, or you can go to the fabric shop and maybe get a nice piece of soft webbing and actually sew a loop in it. All we have to do is this, and remembering that most of the pressure is at the front, we just let it wiggle down there, and then with a little press, check that the headband's all the way down. Now it's in there, it's ready to take out the next time. And when you do, you will have to place one hand on the box and simply lift it like this. Just working it backwards and forwards a little bit there. I'll do that again. Hand on the box. Grip your strip of fabric, webbing or whatever you're going to use. Little wiggle left and right. And up they come, and no stress at all has been put on this connection here. The only force at all that's been put on it is a closing connection, and that's exactly what you want. So guys, thanks for watching this video, and I really recommend these goggles. Save up for them, do anything, rob a bank, but get these goggles. They're great. You know, I haven't seen such good reviews for a product from such a cynical audience as quadcopter flyers before. So do that, and if you go to CH's website and have a look at their products, look at the colours, fall in love with it. You know, this is something that you'll just want to take with you because it's so useful, and the contents will be absolutely safe. And now that you know how to extract the goggles without causing any damage to the join, it'll be clear skies and happy flying. See you in the sky.